to everybody, and it's good to be in the Tennessee Valley. My name is Paul Reynolds. I'm the National Committee man. For those of you, that means I represent the state of Alabama on the Republican National Committee, along with the state chair and a lady from Birmingham. And it's good to be with you, especially when it's something to do with Mo Brooks. I want to get the idea across completely to you. This meeting here today is for one thing. We're starting to sign the termination papers to fire Nancy Pelosi. We have a chance in Alabama to make sure that Nancy Pelosi has real problems in regaining her position. And that is in the 2nd District. We want to send a young lady by the name of Martha Roby to Congress, where the 2nd District had been Republican since 1964. Now, here is a little bit different, but we have a great guy to lead us that direction, and that's Mo Brooks. Yeah. Let me say this as I get ready to introduce Mo. Several years ago, my wife was in a political campaign for state senate in the Montgomery area, and she went to a rally, and sitting there waiting for her turn, she sat and listened to all of the statewide candidates make their talk. And she came back, and I said, well, tell me how it went, and tell me particularly about the statewide candidates. She said, well, I listened to every one of them, and I digested what they said. And she said, I want you to know the guy that makes the most sense, because he has thought about the problems, and he's thought about how to address the problems, and he's very capable of putting forth the method of dealing with the problems. I think the best guy there is Mo Brooks. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to meet, if you didn't already know him, Mo Brooks.
I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you. What do we want? Mo, and less Pelosi? Is that the... Well, I want to thank everybody for coming. It's really remarkable. I did a head count. We have over 200 people here baking in the sun on a hot day where we had less than 24 hours notice to get the word out. Imagine what we could have done with more days. But what we're seeing here is a reflection of the anxiety that we all have for our country. We understand that our nation is at risk, and we are rising up to do what is necessary to make our thoughts known, so that we can make sure people in Washington understand that what they're doing is the wrong thing. It's the wrong thing for America, and we love our country, and we're going to do something about it. And the first step is firing Nancy Pelosi. Now, I want y'all to ask yourselves, how many times have you heard Washington's liberal, left-wing, elitist Democrats justify their aberrant and failing economic policies by blaming George Bush? Raise your hand if you've heard them say that. Their economic policy consists of blaming George Bush and nothing more. Now, we need sound economic policies, and this George Bush made me do it blame game is nothing more than political propaganda designed to mask the aberrant policies that they're advocating that won't work because they can't work, because they don't make sense. Now, I want to focus on a particular month during the last decade. That month is November of 2006. Keep in mind the setting. November 1st, 2006, we had enjoyed, and I repeat, had enjoyed 6 years of George Bush as President of the United States, 6 years of a Republican House, 6 years of a Republican Senate, 6 years of economic policies that were pro-growth, pro-job. And in November of 2006, what happened? The Democrats, by misleading the American people in conjunction with the left-wing loonies of the national media, convinced the public that times were bad. Well, in November of 2006, what was our national unemployment rate? 4.3%. So the economy that the Democrats in Congress inherited in November of 2006 was 4.3%. That is as close to full employment that as America has enjoyed for many, many years. So when they keep blaming George Bush, we need to come back with 4.3%, because that's what our unemployment rate was the moment that Nancy Pelosi became House Speaker-elect Nancy Pelosi, the moment that Senator Harry Reid became Senate Majority-elect Harry Reid, and the moment that Barack Obama became Senator-elect Barack Obama. 4.3%. Now, what have they given us with their economic policies over the last 4 years? Bingo! The Democrats, with their failed socialist policies, have given us 10% unemployment. Right now, 9.6%. They're down a little bit from their worst. But we're on the upswing again. Their policies don't work, and they should learn from history. Learn from history. Socialism, you Democrats in Washington, listen to us. It didn't work with the Soviet Union. It didn't work with Red China. They're going to a capitalist economy, and their economy is booming. It didn't work in Cuba. Even Castro in the last couple of weeks has admitted that socialism does not work. He's laying off 500,000 government employees and telling them to go into the private sector and generate wealth for his nation. Why do people in Washington want to copy an economic system that has failed so badly around the world, where even the proponents of it are in great retreat from it, where they are starting to embrace free enterprise? Yet the people in Washington take us in the exact opposite direction of where we need to go if we're going to create jobs. What are some of their failed economic policies? Well, I've got a list, and it's a short list. It's short only because I didn't have enough time to write them all down. There is a reason why their $800 billion stimulus package didn't work. It's because it was based on outmoded 1960s economic situation. Folks, we're 2010. We're not the 1960s. That kind of stimulus package might have worked in the 1960s, but it will not work today. The economic circumstances are different. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has advocated a cap-and-trade energy tax bill that would increase our utility rates over $100 a month. How are we going to create jobs when you deplete the resources of our families to buy goods and purchase services that employ other Americans? How are American manufacturers and industries going to create jobs when Nancy Pelosi's cap and tax bill is going to make it too expensive for us to operate manufacturing facilities and industries? Nancy Pelosi, stop your job-killing antics. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has rammed through the U.S. House and through the United States Congress a government-run health care bill that is a first step towards full socialism of our health care industry. I want to emphasize that. Their government-run health care bill is a step towards their ultimate goal. Their ultimate goal is an English-style economic health care proposal that would turn every doctor, every nurse, every person in our health care industry into a government employee. Well, go to England. Go to England if you want to have your broken bone fixed or you want a treatment for the flu, but you come to the United States if you want to have a mammogram, if you want to be treated for breast cancer, if you want an MRI to help discern the extent of your soft tissue injury before you're operated on. Come to the United States of America, you folks in England, if you want a health care system that will keep you alive. In just 2 years, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her liberal allies have run up a $2.75 trillion budget deficit. Never mind the effect that's going to have on future generations that have to pay for it. Never mind the effect it has on us today. But think about this. That $2.75 trillion, where did it come from? It came from our capital markets. That is money that could have been used by our entrepreneurs, by our businessmen to create jobs. When you wonder, Nancy Pelosi, when you and your allies wonder why unemployment is going up, don't you see any relationship to that $2.75 trillion taken from our capital markets and the inability of small business to sponsor job-promoting projects? She should, but she doesn't. Now, there are a lot of benefits to firing House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. A lot of them. First off, it's a message to those folks in Washington, D.C. that will be heard across the country. You may be well-intended, but as long as you're going to continue to do damage to the American economy, to the principles that have made America great, you may as well enjoy your visit as House Speaker, because we're going to take America back. And there's another bonus. And there are many bonuses to the removal of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. But you know what? If we take House Speaker Nancy Pelosi out of the House Speaker's position, we also remove that entire leadership team. That leadership team that is rife with corruption. Can you spell Charlie Rangel, House Speaker Pelosi? Can you spell Maxine Waters, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi? Can you spell Massachusetts Congressman Barney Frank? And this is what happens if we capture the U.S. House of Representatives this fall. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is not only gone, we've fired her, but we fire that entire House leadership team. And let me give you a great example. The chairman of the House Financial Services Committee is none other than Massachusetts Congressman Barney Frank. He does not represent Alabama values. He doesn't represent American values. If we capture the House Speaker position, Barney Frank from Massachusetts, that liberal left-wing congressman, is no longer chairman of the Financial Services Committee. He is no longer the congressman. He is no longer the congressman that we have to go through with respect to every banking law, every mortgage law, every law dealing with credit of every aspect. He is no longer the congressman that we have to go through to help revitalize American industry, to make credit flow to small businessmen and entrepreneurs like it's supposed to. If we fire House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, we also fire Massachusetts Congressman Barney Frank as chairman of the Financial Services Committee, and better yet, we replace him with our own Alabama Congressman Spencer Backus. Now that is an upgrade. We have 41 days left in this election. We need your help. The Tennessee Valley, the 5th Congressional District, is a key part of a nationwide effort to unseat House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and capture the House and turn the American Congress into a Congress for the people of the United States of America, for the foundational principles that help make America the greatest nation the world has ever seen. So the first step is to fire Nancy Pelosi. Oh, y'all with us? What is the message to Washington? Fire Pelosi! Louder! What is the message to Washington? Fire Pelosi! What is the message to Washington? Fire Pelosi! The Tennessee Valley is hearing your voices. We're so proud that you have come out today. Now we need your help. We need your prayers to sustain us over the next 41 days. Already, Nancy Pelosi and her liberal allies are putting in the newspaper false accusations that have no basis in fact of any kind. Already, Nancy Pelosi and her allies are putting on the internet all sorts of false accusations about what we together stand for with respect to Social Security, with respect to our environmental laws, with respect to so many other policies that are important to our country. I know over the next 41 days I'm going to be a human dartboard, but we have to win this fight for our country. We have to. America's future is at stake. And so with that, with your prayers, we need your volunteer time. If you're able to make a financial contribution, we need it so that we can buy airtime to rebut the attacks that will be forthcoming. But most important, we need you to spread your word with your friends and neighbors. Let them understand what is truly at stake for the United States of America. And we need your vote on November 2nd. Thank you so much, and God bless. Grab a yard sign before you leave.